The suffering in the western part of Aleppo is practically unknown to mainstream viewers, as the media focuses solely on suffering of the militant-held areas of the city.
Activists say close to 100 children have been killed in the eastern part of the city.
The UN say 96 children have been killed alone in that eastern rebel-held area of Aleppo.
A 7-year-old has been live tweeting from eastern Aleppo.
Familiar scene in the embattled districts of rebel-held East Aleppo.
Unable to convince Moscow to stop bombing civilians.
You'll undoubtedly have heard a lot about the anguish and suffering of civilians in the rebel-held East. But the suffering in Aleppo is citywide. We decided to take to the streets of New York to ask people if they knew that the residents of western Aleppo were also suffering from injury, death, and destruction. Can you tell us what's happening in Aleppo right now?
There's refugees right there.
In a who?
In Aleppo?
Can't even tell you. I don't watch TV that much.
What is happening in Aleppo right now?
Aleppo is a hotspot in Syria where things are totally out of control.
There's a war going on there. People can't get food and they're being killed, and it's a really terrible situation.
You know, the Russians are actually in there helping the rebels, and I don't know really what Obama is saying about that, because
the Russians are helping the Syrian government.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are helping the Syrian government, but we need to have the United States also in this conflict to sort it out.
What's happening in Aleppo is being bombed by Russians and also bombed by the Syrian Assad forces.
My understanding is they're being slaughtered by the Russians.
The Russians are bombing it again quite heavily, I understand.
And what about the rebels? Are they bombing anyone?
I don't think so. They don't have planes to begin with, so a bit hard.
Well, actually, you know, half of Aleppo is controlled by the rebel forces, and they are bombing civilian areas. Have you heard anything about this?
No, find it hard to believe.
I did not know that.
No, I'm not familiar with them doing anything like that.
I know about the atrocities happening from the government. On the other side, I haven't heard much.
I feel terrible, but I guess I don't know those details.
Do you feel like the U.S. media is being balanced in the way it covers Syria?
Of course.
I don't know.
You know, I watch mostly MSNBC because they agree with me.